I think one of the problems we have in, in terms of policies, we always look at the projects in terms of the pricing them traditionally in terms of cost per megawatt hour, comparing it to the cost per megawatt hour of a gas-fired plant or a coal-fired plant. But this isn't about, if it was only about that, then we'd just be building coal-fired plants. This is about emissions reduction, this is about economic growth, this is about jobs. And when you package that together and express it in a megawatt hour price, it is not as onerous as as the sheer capital cost for the project would lead you to believe. So I think that for those reasons of emissions reduction and job creation, size and location are crucial. To have a meaningful impact on emissions, it needs to be very large. And where we're going to get 4,000 megawatts of wind power, it's not going to be terrestrial based. It's not going to be land based. It's going to be offshore in the Northeast. And from jobs, there are more. The economy is bigger here. There are more people here. This is an ideal location to foster that development as well. So I think that's the way that we need to start to look at this. Absent a mandatory RPS or absent a law like was just enacted, or signed by Jerry Brown in California, where 30% of all the energy consumed in California by 2020 has to come from renewable resources. That's one way. That's a good stick. That works. If New York could do that, then that's it's clearly a solution. But absent that, I think it's a more nuanced policy to bring these other benefits of the wind projects.
Yeah, I would agree with Jonathan. I think New York State is blessed with tremendous wind resources, both upstate and offshore. And just to give you a little background, 4 years ago the city issued a 30-year sustainability plan called Plan YC, and we're about to launch the major update of that this month. And so one of the things we've been looking at is, and the city's not in the energy business per se, although we do make some capital investments on some small things. We mostly try to facilitate projects in the regulatory process and to some degree as off-takers. But it is important to look at what's going on right now in the economy. We are obviously still recovering. Power demand is still recovering from the recession, so there's a comfortable supply-demand balance for some period of time. And it's also important to note that New York City generally has a pretty good supply mix when you look at it. It's not totally clean, but it's gas, nuclear and hydro primarily, and well, upstate it's wind. So it's important to put that in context, because developing a wind industry can lead to tremendous growth and job opportunities and also clean generation. But you do need to coordinate the developers and suppliers of that energy with consumers who are going to offtake that energy. So that's one of the big challenges I'm sure we're going to be talking about.